Hello?
Hello.
Hey, good evening. You can hear me? Okay, good.
Yes, we can hear you. Good evening.
Evening. Sorry about this. I wasn't warned that this would happen, so I didn't know that your trainer not being. All right. So let's see what we can do today. So I'm sure you are aware that to take DevOps, we need to start from this scratch so that we can have servers that are running. Are you hearing me, by the way?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me connect my earpiece.
Yes, yeah, we can hear you very well.
Oh, great. Share screen. 1 second. All right. So we'll just basically interact. I'll take questions, whatever ambiguity you have, I'll try to clear all of them so that the next time we'll have a real class, at least you should have a better understanding of what's going on technically. That's what I'll try to do today. So I will not be able to take the exact class which should be taken because, like you already know, to set up my CI/CD, I need to have what do I need to have? I need to have my various servers running the various applications, right? The various services, and then set up my CI/CD, put JFrog somewhere, put all of the services until I deploy to my production, all right? So because I don't have all of this set up, and this is going to take me like 3 days to set up and install all of them, I'm not able to jump into deploy your SonarQube or your JFrog right now because I don't have my infrastructure in place. The last time I delivered training was, it's over almost 2 months now. So I don't have any infrastructure in cloud, but somebody suggested that I just come in and at least take you, see what we can do together to help you understand these things better. So that's why I'm here. All right. And then in the process of doing that, if you have any question, please stop me at any time to ask. All right. So what I'd like to do first is just give you an overview of the CI/CD pipeline and how it works. Can we start from there, or is there something you'd like us to take before we start?
I mean, it's up to everyone else. I think we were at JFrog, like we've already done Git, Maven, SonarQube, and we were supposed to start JFrog. I think we can start from there. I think we have a good pretty understanding of the CDCI pipeline.
Okay.
Unless anyone else is opposed to what I'm saying, but.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. But the problem now is I cannot do JFrog or SonarQube when I do not have my. So what do I need to have to be in place? First of all,
I see.
Yeah, I need my Git to be in place. Then I need my GitHub, my repository. What are you using for your repo? Bitbucket, right?
Bitbucket, yeah.
So I need to have my codes in Bitbucket and then connect that to my Git server. And then in my Git server, I should have my Maven running so that my code will be built by my Maven. In this case, can have both of them on a single server. My Maven there. So it is what I build here from Maven that will be pushed to my SonarQube server.
Okay.
And then my JFrog server. So the reason we cannot do JFrog here now is because I don't have any of these things in place. And like you said, you already completed this. So this class is not to take Bitbucket all over. I don't even have any codes. And then put, yeah, because I'm not ready for class, put codes there and then build my Git, pull my codes, use my Maven to. So this is the reason I cannot just take this now. So I'm not in a position to take it.
Okay.
For your regular class, you already have all of this in place. So it will just be smooth continuation if you just come to say, okay, so far this is what we have built. This is our artifact. By artifact, I mean your .war file. And now let us deploy it to our SonarQube and deploy it to JFrog and see what it does. And then somebody was suggesting, okay, just come in and tell us the role of JFrog in this pipeline. So we can look at that. Yeah. And then any other issue, or like I said, any ambiguity, anything you are not clear about in the way that things work from this point to that point, yeah, we can just look at all of this. It's better than just sending you back and saying. So we're not able to do practicals today because I don't have any of this set up. All right, so for what's the whole idea of JFrog? JFrog is, you know what Artifactory is? Artifactory. Artifactory is the place where you save. Just like library, you keep books there. But in the case of Artifactory, it's a library of applications or software. All right. So whereas your Bitbucket or another app that is used for that is GitHub. GitHub. There's another application called GitHub. All right. So these are Artifactory for your codes. This is where you save your codes. But after you have built your codes and you have converted them to artifacts.war file, they are no longer codes. They are now more like applications. So where do you save these applications? So it is the Artifactory that you save applications into. All right. So again, when we say Artifactory, so many different applications, so many different services can be used to activate, to implement Artifactory. But the particular app that we are using here to deploy our Artifactory is JFrog. So what does that mean? It means that JFrog is just a space where our application is saved. In other words, if we are working for Google, for example, and Google wants to, and we made a change to the live application that in production that customers are currently currently connected to. And maybe my supervisor comes and says, no, this is wrong. This shouldn't be here. Why did you change the payment sign to $? It should be in Naira or something. And then we're going to say, you know what, revert to the old functional application. This is wrong. So if we did not save it here, we'll not be able to revert to the old functional one. What if we wanted to revert to something that was active last month? More like backup, you could say. Something that a particular app that was active last month, because we, for some reason, maybe we detected that the changes we have made between last month and today are not valid. We want to change them. So this is the place where we can go to say, oh, revert back to this, and then this one will be pulled back to production. So this place where all of this artifact, all of this your .war files are saved is called Artifactory, and we're using JFrog as that Artifactory. So the idea of building JFrog is to have, before you even push to production, first of all, save a place where all of this .war file, your applications, will be saved. So that if anything happens from here forward, from here on, you are not going back to code to build all over again and start from there. You are just starting from here, only from here, because you already have the last valid copy at this point. So this is your artifact. That's what Artifactory does. So as a DevOps engineer, it is not your own work, is just to make sure that what is being deployed to production is available locally in a safe place. It is not really your work to come work here or do anything here. Just make sure a copy is saved here And for that reason, you put it as part of the CI/CD pipeline so that a copy is saved there before you proceed to use the saved copy for your production. That's what Artifactory is. Did I help in any way?
Yes, that's yes.
Okay. So JFrog, when we're setting up JFrog, that's what we're doing. We're setting up Artifactory for our .war files. What's the general name for .war files? Instead of calling them, when we compile our codes and it results in .war, the general name is actually artifact. Artifact. And that is why it is called Artifactory, the place where artifact is kept. Instead of saying .war file, because it's not always .war, it could be .tar or some other extension, though .war is the most common. So it is better for me to call them my Artifactory. So it is the storage of all the version control system for all of my Artifactory. Version control simply means that if I wanted the version of Google that Google had when it opened in 2000 and whatever year that was, the very first edition of Google web page when it first opened, if I go to the Artifactory, I will find it there. And then Google can use that to show me when we started 20 years ago or 20 something years ago, this was what we looked like because it's available in Artifactory. Whether it is for a web application or for a mobile application, they are all saved here. Artifactory, or is the archive of all versions of the Artifactory since application was set up. As for the Sonar Cube, yeah, any question on Artifactory?
No.
All right. So for the Sonar Cube, you already know. Now, once your Artifactory is ready, before you deploy, you don't just deploy it straight to production because there could be errors, it could not, it's possible. There are different kinds of policies. There are security policies, there are governance policies, legal policies, regulatory policies, and so on and so forth. Use of bad language or something. All of these have to be checked, all right, by different IT professionals, not you as the DevOps engineer. You as DevOps engineer, your own is to set up this pipeline, all right, put all the servers where they should be, all right. So once your Artifactory is ready and it is there, it is normal for your software testers, your security people, your legal people to check that your Artifactory meets the standard that your company has Google for. Any little mistake, somebody will sue Google for $1 million for, it's a big company, so they don't want to lose money by leaving or even lose integrity or lose secure data. I mean, so many things that they want to take care of. So it is when it is here in Sonar Cube that all of these other specialists would, especially the testers, software testers, who have access to be able to analyze, test, and verify that this Artifactory, this application, Artifactory is just the technical name, it's actually your app. Your mobile app is virtually ready here for deployment to production. So they want to verify, they want to do all the testing, they want to do all the analysis to make sure that these codes, this finished product is good for the market. In factory, you want to call this quality analysis. The chemist that would go to the production line and take one sample of the product once in a while to the lab to see that, oh, it should be 20% ethanol, 5% carbon, everything is accordingly. The components of this product is just meets that criteria. All right. So that is what the Sonar Cube server does for quality check. All right. So this is why, even though you as a DevOps engineer, you are not really coming back here to do the work, you are making sure that the It is in your production line, and it is available there. In fact, in some cases, depending on how the company sets up their CI/CD, there may be a lock here, a pipe here to say you should not proceed further to the remaining part of the pipeline until it is verified okay. All right. So if this was petroleum product, and then it has been refined and it's here, you want to take a sample of it and find out that yes, this is actually kerosene. It is not kerosene mixed with oil or kerosene mixed with diesel, or it's pure kerosene. So you do the analysis and come back to say, yes, it is good to go. So this is what this is in software development, or specifically in DevOps. All right. So once the SonarQube server is installed, and then the JFrog server is installed, the next thing you want to do now is to test it in a small, not the real production, in a local production environment. Local production, still within, it's not going to, what I mean local is, it's not going to production yet. Because once it's in production, that is when your 2 billion customers, 5 million customers have access. It's live. It's live. Everybody is accessing it. If you are working for Uber, all your Uber customers are NAS. But before it gets here, you want to first of all test its workability within this environment. So this is where concepts like container, Dockerization, comes to play. So you want to do Docker here, put the application, the Artifactory here, run it, and see that, oh, it is working fine. Oh, it's not working fine. It has to be corrected. Then it comes back here. I mean, through this pipe comes back. It will correct whatever needs to be correct. I mean, yeah. Or ideally, it comes back here actually. And once the correction is made and it's okay, then the copy is given to your repo for safety, so that other people can also have access, because there are so many developers working on that same project. Anyway, the point I'm making is, once it comes out of SonarQube to JFrog, and JFrog has a copy, the next thing you want to do is take that copy and put it in a lab environment, laboratory environment, similar to the real world environment. All right. So if people here will be using mobile phone to browse, Microsoft Internet, Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, whatever the real life application is like, the real life environment is like, you want to replicate that environment here using containers, so that you run this same application within this environment before you now say, yes, it has passed running under this condition, therefore it is now fit for deployment. So that whatever error you see here can be corrected before you release to production. So the next thing you will do would be how to containerize, because the alternative to containerizing is to use a whole server to deploy this technology. So if you use one server to deploy for Internet Explorer, another server to deploy to test for how it will behave if it's being browsed from mobile phone, another. So you are going to have so many servers. So instead of having so many servers, which is waste of resources, what you want to do is create a container, like similar to a virtual server within this virtual server, and this container will run one of the many applications, one of the many environments that should be running on separate servers. All right, so within one server, you can now run multiple containers, each container representing a different environment. That's the whole idea of containerization. And the software, the tool actually, that enables you to create containers and deploy applications within containers like you would deploy on server is called Docker. All right, and then from then on until you finally deploy to your production. And this production will typically be your Kubernetes cluster. So you are going to do Kubernetes. How to create, how to combine many servers together to form one cluster using Kubernetes, and then take this application, this at the level of seeing your application running now, at the level of seeing your Artifactory running now, because you're actually using a browser. And the common browser you're going to use here is what's the browser? I'm sorry, I'm not seeing this. It's in there. All right. Tomcat is Tomcat. All right. So once you deploy Tomcat in your container and it is running, it is no longer called Artifact at this stage. It is now called your application. All right. But up to this level, you can call it. All right. So that's just an overview. So if you ask specific questions now, we can now zoom on that specific area and explain more. Because at interview, actually, especially at the first stage of the interview, this is what you are expected to understand before they even shortlist you. You are expected to understand this whole flow, all the way from G to GitHub to production. You are expected to understand how code to flow from here to here, what you do here to push them there, and so on and so forth. It is when you have a very good understanding, are you able to explain all of this seamlessly, that they now invite you to interview to say, okay, all of these things that you say you know, have you ever deployed an application there in an enterprise environment, in a production environment? You say, yes, okay. That is when they will now focus on, okay, if you did, then tell me what you did at this level. When you push to this level, what happened? Then when you got here, how were you able to Dockerize? Have you used Docker before? What did you use Docker for? You know, all of the detailed question will not be around here. This is the interview. But before they ask you detailed questions specific to Kubernetes or to Docker or to Maven, they will first of all need you to understand and explain the whole concept at a high level. That's what we're trying to do. Why are we 7 in class? Uche, Paul. Who is Paul?
I'm here.
Is somebody logged in twice? Oh.
Yeah, I just joined. My name is Olu.
Olu, are you part of this class?
Yes, sir.
You made payment for this class, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. He paid in full. Remember?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was stuck in the previous Zoom, and so I was able to exit, from it successfully. So I'm back here now.
Oh, okay. What was there a Zoom going on? Was there a different class?
Well, I followed the previous link.
Okay, but
I
did
mean,
the trainer come to that class?
no, it was just me.
Oh, sorry about
Because
that.
I was joining from a cell phone before, so the audio, it wasn't like that great, so I couldn't hear what was going on. And so
okay.
apparently I left the Zoom, and then I was the only one left there. So I managed to get
even now
out.
you are still not very clear. Your internet bandwidth apparently is now. But it's okay. I just wanted to make sure. I thought there were 5 people in class. Okay. All right. So if Bimbo, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. All right. So let's just do. Yeah. So the goal here is just to understand this at a high level, and then we are all able to explain that. But if you already know that, then to be honest, there's no need to be wasting your time, because if I don't have this already set up and that already set up, then what do I want to? I cannot do that. I'm sorry. At least not today. All right. So if you don't have questions specific to this, then you can ask any question. Interviews, what you have done so far in Linux, or what else did you do? Yeah, in AWS.
Yeah, AWS.
I have a few questions that I was going to ask. This is Efe.
Okay.
question number one, I've been going through some of the cheat sheet that Mr. Femi gave us for AWS, but I was going through the developer section and I saw AWS applications like code pipeline, code commit, and Elastic Kubernetes service. So my question is, and also code artifacts. Now my question is, are there organizations, applications like SonarQube and Kubernetes and Docker more cross-platform with Azure and GCP, and then are there organizations that just use AWS versions like code commit and code artifacts and Elastic Kubernetes service and things like that, and Elastic Container Service?
Yeah, good question. Very good question. Yes. So generally, the other ones are cross-platform, like you call them. They are open source, and therefore they are like the first stage of DevOps deployment generally. Yes, but again, there are organizations that are specific to AWS. And there are many of them, to be honest. And they say, okay, even though you know how to do this using Bitbucket, okay, so yes,
so we're learning.
Yes, so there are organizations, yes, but that will be at the advanced level, not at this so-called entry level. So if organization is hiring you now and say, okay, we know that we have seen that you have a good understanding of DevOps, and we see the tools that you use or you have been using. However, in our own case, this is the tool we use in place of that. This is what we do. Yeah, they should either give you time to acclimatize or give you their own training material to help you use their specific tool. Yes.
Sounds good. My other question was about updating LinkedIn. So now I work as an electrical engineer. I have all my experience there and so on. Do I need to create a new LinkedIn account? Because we are going to have a resume that we will have to tweak experience to, I believe. Or do we just use the same account? I'm asking also because when we get our certification, do we attach it to existing accounts and or do we create a new account? That's basically it.
Yeah, that's more of a personal thing. It depends on your preference. So, but in your own case, since you are still fully engaged, you are still working for this current organization, you may not want anything to tamper with your profile until you have a new job and you have nothing to do with this. So I may want to suggest that you create a new one, an independent one from what you are currently doing.
Okay. I'm asking to that because HRs look at my LinkedIn almost every week or so, every 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't mind putting my certification and so on, but if I took experience, I don't know what that's going to lead to.
But in any case, you are not. Are you? Would you be claiming all of your current experience for your new IT role? Are they related?
No. So that's another question. That was one of the questions, and that is, do I keep the same experience or do we just create a new one and then?
I don't know what you are doing right now, but by the end of the course, you should know what part of your current experience is relevant for the new role. You can.
Yeah, I was about to add that to that. You can only keep whatever is relevant to the role that you're seeking.
Yeah.
There's
so
not
it's really
a lot
hard to say. Okay.
So
it's really hard to say throw it away completely or use it. It just depends on situation and the circumstance. So in your own case, electrical instrumentation, maybe one or two things you might be able to pick from there. But if you feel that they are not useful, then you just put them aside and then draw an independent and different profile completely that now reflects the new skill. And then in that case, because you are completing the entire course, you can claim that you acquire those skills, not just in training, but working with us, the ITern.
Okay.
You can use the ITern as your referee on your resume to say, yes, I gained this experience And usually people will claim up to 4 years. I've spent the last 4 years working around Linux, around AWS as solutions architect, around CI/CD. I know how to use this. Yeah, you see the sample resume. So it's just a matter of, okay, depending on what you are confident of, it's just a matter of saying, okay, for this one, since I can do everything, 100% of everything they expect me to do here, I'll claim 4 years here. Somebody else may say, man, I've not really had time to practice all of this. I can only do 70% of this. So maybe I should claim 3 years. And so on. But ideally, the 6 months experience you are having in this training is enough to claim at least 4 years experience, because that's what employers are looking for.
Sounds good.
All right, so that's what people before you have been claiming and been working for. So the other, the other AWS tools you mentioned, they are very great tools, but usually they are the level of professionals. Those other DevOps tools. So when you are claiming 6 years, 7 years experience, then definitely you are expected to have learned to use those tools as well.
Okay. So, I mean, would you advise, for instance, for us to create a LinkedIn account before, I mean, as soon as we're done with the class or after we have the certification,
yeah, as soon as you're done with class, yes, you can create right away, because these days, because the jobs are so many out there, people are getting jobs even without certifications now.
Okay.
Yes. So just put it out there. Sometimes they just test you and they say, wow, you may not have the certification, but your understanding is very solid.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, most companies, value experience more than certification.
Definitely.
From what
That's true. That's correct. Yeah. Even right about now, once you are done with Docker, yeah, you don't really need to wait till the end of Kubernetes. Once you are done with Docker, you can be your trainer has the sample resume, and share that with you so that you can begin to prepare something for yourself.
Oh, so once we are done with Docker, we can start building.
Yeah, you can start building your profile. Yeah, because building profile is not a 1 week thing. It could last for the next 1 month. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can start building it.
What I did was I've already started my resume for this. Sorry, my LinkedIn.
Okay.
My old LinkedIn, what I did was I just took out my picture, I modified my name. And then my new LinkedIn, I put my picture and just my first name.
Okay.
Okay. I was going to ask you, Uche, because I know you are also kind of an IT related field.
Yeah. So
okay, yeah. Uche, who is already into IT here?
No, I'm not IT. I'm not IT. I'm pharmacist.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. And
I actually thought you were IT. Okay.
No, yeah. So I just started add people in DevOps, add groups in DevOps, join groups in DevOps. That's what I've been doing for the past month. Just,
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, sounds great.
Because I deactivated my electrical account, I just took it offline due to recruiters reaching out, and I was thinking, do I bring it back on or do I create a new one? So
yeah, Uche's style is good.
I think I will do that. Yes.
Yeah. So just modify your name. You don't have to use your full name for any one of them. So that way it's separated. My own question for you, Engineer Akin, is, I know this field, there's a lot of people going into it. There's people having there's classes that host 500 people. It just looks like there's so many people going into it. People getting multiple jobs. What is the future like from your experience? What in terms of
yeah, the future is bright for IT. In fact, right now, IT is about, well, as far as I know, I don't know everything. It's about the only profession that fits every other profession. So even as a pharmacist, as a medical person, as a space person, there is room for improvement, and IT is that tool. So I don't, at least in the next within the next 2 years, I don't see this market being saturated. As many people as are qualified to work there, I believe that there is room for them. I believe that there is room for everyone because on a daily basis, for example, one person can get like 20 recruiters trying to contact you, just one person. So that just shows how desperate, and the fact, so many other signs. Before they will insist that you have certification. If you don't have certification, they don't even have the first round. These days, they are literally begging. Don't worry about certification. In fact, we'll pay you to write the certification once you are. Yes, the indication is that, yes, even though things are changing very fast, and that's the only thing you do on your own part, because things are moving very fast, is to learn to be very competitive, so that you know a little bit more than what others know. And that is why our DevOps was not this detailed. So because we just wanted to, and then of course our prices were not this high. But we know what employers are looking for. We got them and we built them into the train. So
I think you mentioned one of the key things is like in IT you have to constantly learn like the new about the letters, like technology, because otherwise you would just forget, So that's you gotta stay abreast of it.
So once you do, maybe you do the regular kind of DevOps like we used to do it. Yeah, you may know something, but going out there and competing against people who have gone the extra mile, doing extra self-development, it will look like, but they said there are jobs. How come there are no jobs? So there are always jobs. There are always jobs. If you are not able to get the first, second, third time, just keep learning from the interviews and keep developing yourselves. It doesn't mean that once you complete training, you handle the first interview, you are 100% perfect. No. It takes several interviews to get it right. But every time you get it wrong, you go do extra research, and then the next interview will be better until you get something. There was a case that was almost frustrating. One of my trainees who completed the training like December last year. In fact, to be honest, she completed in November, but just wanted December to, okay, I'll start looking for a new job in the new year. And then January, February, March, for 3 months, she was looking for a job, a few interviews here and there, and then later, so many interviews, and none of them was just working out apparently. But eventually she got something after over 3 months of looking for something. And what she got was really good, better than the average. The average salary is, actually, the minimum salary has been 100. It's always 100, 111, 120. 120 is not so common. The most common is 100. But she got something for $65 per hour, which translates to over 120K per annum. So eventually it paid off. And it paid off because she used the failure of those so many initial interviews to improve so much on herself.
As a learning tool.
Yeah. The last time she was talking to me, she was so confident. I was, Mr. Akin, anything S3, anything, what was this other thing she mentioned? Anything Terraform, forget it. I said, with the confidence, I said, wow, I'm going to invite you to class to talk to you. I said, no problem. But right now, she's only about, it's less than 3 months on the job. So she's still trying to learn a lot of stuff, but she's really getting better and better by the day. Yeah, so it happens like that. It happens sometimes you don't get the job outrightly. And then occasionally you also find people, sharp people who at this stage they're already looking for a job, and before the end of training, they get a job. No, what I mean when I say sharp, I didn't mean that everyone is not sharp, but I just meant that they have consciously, deliberately been working on the project such that they don't have to spend additional time outside of the training developing themselves. So they are always developing as well as we are going through the training. So maybe they are not so busy in their secular job, and then they come up. I've even had cases of people not completing training because they just get jobs that are good enough to give them the remaining part of the training on the job. So there's no need to complete training. You just stop maybe after AWS, and then they just focus on the job to get the remaining part of it. Yeah. So it varies from person to person.
Okay.
But there are jobs. The minute there are no more jobs, it means that we'll be out of as trainers, I'll be out of market, because if I train and nobody's getting job, then no matter what we say in class or how much praises we gain in class, if you hold this certification, you pass through this training, 4 months, 5 months down the line, you still have no job, the training will ultimately crash. But another way to look at no job might just be that on top of what we have learned, we may need just one other, depending on the experiences you get from your interviews, what they are asking. And just need just one other technology, one other layer of skill to build on top what you already know. It doesn't mean that what you know is useless. It just means that, okay, maybe in the place of Jenkins, there's a new application now they are using to deploy Jenkins, for example. We just learned that maybe for this particular company, we are doing open source deployment, which is good for everybody, which is normal. But this particular company insists that you must know to do this using AWS tools, like if you mentioned or somebody. In that case, you need to go and learn code. I don't know what name they call them. All those other technologies that
Code
AWS,
pipeline and
code pipeline,
code deploy, code build,
coding, exactly.
code commit.
Yeah. All of those, yes. They are not so difficult. I know them all. Just that I've been away from IT. Like somebody observed, you're away from this thing for, even though I've been in IT for a long time, if I'm away for 3 months, it still tells. Because I'm actually trying to diversify into other areas, but apparently it's not working right now. Because I need to have a reliable trainer that would always be there. And if any of you, after you complete training, you feel that you have enough interest and enough, you've practiced enough and you have developed enough skills to be able to make contributions, you are welcome to join me as assistant trainer. Assistant trainer in the bank.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, welcome to that. Because IT is it's not always about working. Yeah, it's good to gain the experience like we all did, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 8 years experience like I had before I moved out of the corporate world to start my own. But it's not always about remaining in corporate sector. You could be a contractor, you could be a trainer, there are other things you can do and still be in IT, depending on what you have there. Yes, there are jobs out there for I'm sure you have Googled and you see this thing by yourself. You just needed confirmation from me. Yeah.
I've seen, but I just the way like people are jumping, like there's, people, like this person is telling me, oh, there's a class, there's 560 people in the class. Like that's a lot of people in one class.
Wow.
So I mean, I know not all of them are going to complete their session. I don't know what percentage graduates or whatever, but that's a lot of people, trying to get the same thing that I'm getting. So that's why I'm just wondering.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, I have personally faced situations like that in my own career. At one point, at several points, I felt, oh, IT is saturated, man, how come? There's no, but the way to overcome that is just to learn one more thing that those people do not know. Just one more thing. As long as that self-development is there, and then it'll give you an edge over there. Because yeah, even though there is job, you are all still competing in the same market.
Okay.
So the networking will be forming here will be useful as well, so that you are interacting with people who have gone through this training and are now working. So they are bringing their contributions. Okay, the relevance of S3, the relevance of Kubernetes, the relevance of Terraform. How can you use Terraform to automate the whole process without even writing? I mean, everything is coded. You script everything without even putting a single line of command like you are doing now. And then they just keep making all of these contributions, and you are saying, wow, wow, wow. So it's no longer completely strange to you. You know what they are talking about. So as long as you are at that level where you understand what they are saying, it might not take more than 10 minutes of additional work. Maybe watch one YouTube channel there, try one other resource there, and so on. And then I also had, this other guy from the last class that I had. He got the 100K job before the end of it. He was already sharp, though, to be honest. He was a sharp guy, even from the beginning. So he already knew stuff before he joined the DevOps class. At a point, I even asked him, "Come, are you a trainer?" Because his questions were. So yeah, he did get a job before the end of training. And then 3 weeks or so down the job, he was sharing a project with me and said, this one. I said, the reason these people know your potentials, and this kind of project you are sharing with me should be for somebody that is earning at least 120K, but they're paying you 100 because they know they can use you to do these big jobs. But I do not have this specific experience to be able to help you, but I can do this. So I just gave him contact and sites where you can register to get technical support, and maybe some Indian links that I use in the back. So with that kind of networking, nothing is really completely impossible. Even though the job may be hard, as long as you have 1 or 2 people in the background to depend on, run to when the projects are bigger than you, you'll be able to. And it's being able to cope is usually within the first 6 months. After that, everything becomes normal, and you are even able to take up a second job. It's just the first 3-6 months that will be hectic, trying to acclimatize, trying to learn the tools, trying to fit in the company culture and so many things at the same time.
So I know on your website for the program, you said there is like on the job, which is kind of touch a bit on that on the job help, right? So is it like a WhatsApp group that you have like a WhatsApp group for like your past?
No, that one is networking. Yeah, there's a WhatsApp group for past trainings where you can interact, even if it's not public, you can interact with yourselves in the background. Those things you cannot discuss publicly, like I failed interviews 2 times. So can anybody help me? Stuff like that you can discuss with your colleagues in the background. Even though it's not official, I know that these things are going on. But no, that's different. So what we meant by the support, but I'm not sure we'll be able to continue with that, is like the project I told you, somebody shared with me to say, okay, this is a project that they just gave to me. I have done this part, I've done this part, but this is where I need help. And for that case, it was, anyway, bottom line is I was not able to help, but I was able to direct him to give him contacts of somebody or visit for him. And yeah, so what we meant was you have that kind of project, bring it to us, and then we'll look at it. And okay, we can write a code that a script in Terraform that can help you deploy all of these things, and you don't even have to do anything. So that's what we meant. But that again is not like guaranteed, because every project is different. Every project, the fact that we have successfully deployed 3-4 projects for different companies does not mean that next time you bring another project, we just have the solution. Yeah, many times, even your trainer, Femi, have helped many of his trainees, like you, with projects relating to their work, and get promotions and get, But there's no one person really knows everything in IT. That's the bottom line. The much that you can do, will do to support you. The ones that you cannot do, and this is bigger. Maybe you look for a specialist in this particular area. For example, if the project has to do specifically with writing a script that will deploy the whole of your CI/CD, that is fine. We can look at that. But if it has to do with now looking specifically at your JFrog and doing stuff around your JFrog server, we may not be able to help. Because ours is just to build the pipeline and not to do detailed. That's for specialists. So if it's a specialist requirement, then we might be able to. We may not be able to help directly. We may just be able to direct you to somebody else. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah. Indeed.
So as for the networking, once you complete the training at this price, then we will add you to that group. So the group may not be continuous training. It may not be like every day we'll come there to say this is something you know. It's just a platform that allows you to connect with other professionals.
Yeah, that's sort of, yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So where you can ask like some other professionals that are already on the job, where you can ask maybe 1 or 2 questions.
Exactly. Like, maybe not publicly for everybody to see, connect with them. For example, I know one of them. In fact, I think he was one of the first people, one of the first set of persons to get a job at 100K. That was in 2021. And then I had this strong connection with him. I know that unofficially he helped at least 8 of his colleagues to get a job. He helped modestly 8. He did everything he could, even as far as arranging background check, because these are people who have not worked before, and yet they needed to show that they have worked 4 years. So even as far as organizing background, but it wasn't displayed there officially that this is what, no, but they were connecting with him in the background, and then things were happening. But because I was close to him, he confided in me, and I know these people. I know because they were all colleagues. Yeah, so you could have access to privileges like that. That one is a WhatsApp group.
Yeah, that's okay. That's good. That's good to know.
Yes, just another quick question. So, what is one of the things that you can at least, tell us, like some of the skills that we can, I guess, try to acquire to, kind of help us to be more competitive,
Yeah, it's basically the CI/CD at the end of the day. Yes, it's the CI/CD. Your Linux, your AWS skills and knowledge, everything is just so to help you understand your CI/CD very well. At the higher level, you should be able to explain the flow. From Java to how your codes, your raw Java codes ultimately end up in production as applications. You should have a good understanding and be able to explain that. And then secondly, you should have a detailed understanding of what goes on at each step of the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what about like scripting and coding too? Do you think that would be helpful too?
We call it scripting actually. Scripting will come as part of the CI/CD because the CI/CD would not be installed manually. Yeah, initially, like you are doing now, it will be done manually. But after you have completed the manual process and you have seen how it is done, you are now going to write a script that would build it and automate the building process.
Okay.
So that's where your scripting comes in.
Yeah, because Mr. Femi, usually say in class, right, that some of the jobs are like for developers, so they write the codes and everything. But then, I mean, I'm sure if we get a job where we can actually, write the codes and also do the, the deployment and the other aspect of it, I'm pretty sure with that, that you might be able to, I guess, make more money like that. You know, if you.
But it's not possible. One man cannot be a whole IT department.
Oh,
You cannot
okay.
be a
Okay.
developer. You cannot be the one. Even developers would have their specific areas of technology domains. So
I
no,
see.
unless you
Okay.
are running a one-man business like I'm doing, you are working
Mm-hmm.
in a corporate or an enterprise organization, you are going to have 300, 400, 5,000 other people like you on the same project.
Gotcha. I see.
So yeah, people will specialize in coding. So the coding is the development of the app, the different
Mm-hmm.
aspects of the development, whether it's database, whether it's security, whether it's the application layer. I mean, all of that to be handled by them. But your own job would be, once this code is ready, how do you take it and run it through the entire CD pipeline and then deploy it as application to production? So that is where your focus will be. So to differentiate between that coding, that development of the application, and the kind of coding you do in setting up your CI/CD, in automating the provisioning of your infrastructure in cloud, we call your own coding scripting. And that is where Terraform comes in. Other forms of scripting would be the one used in AWS, CloudFormation. And then you can also use any of the other programming languages, like Python for scripting. So scripting is wide, but we are focusing on scripting with Terraform. But the other kind of coding that the developers do is not scripting. That one is called coding. So they will have to learn things like Python, Java, Node.js, C++, C#, all those different programming languages, otherwise called SDKs. So it is theirs to learn. If you know SDK, well, it will just be an advantage, but you are not required to learn it. What you should know is how to use codes to automate your CI/CD pipeline. That is called scripting. What do you need for
Gotcha.
scripting? Terraform.
Okay.
So what do we do with Jenkins?
Jenkins is a tool for coordinating all of your CI/CD activities, or integrating all of them together.
Okay.
So your containers that are running what's the app that your container is running?
The Docker?
Yeah, the Docker is the tool that is used. I mentioned the browser.
Kubernetes?
Anyway, no. Yeah, your Kubernetes, your Docker, your Maven, all of them are your Tomcat. Yeah, all of them are connected together centrally with Jenkins. If you remove Jenkins, everything will scatter. Jenkins is the central hub to which all of these spokes connect to perform their work.
Okay, and then you use Terraform to script.
Yes, Terraform is for script. So you can do all of this without Terraform. That means you are setting them up manually one by one.
Just like
with Terraform, you cannot convert all of the manual process to codes and then just run the codes, and you sit down and watch, and things will just be happening in front of you. That's called automation.
Oh, so Jenkins comes before the automation process. But what about JFrog?
JFrog is one of the many servers that you connect together to form your CI/CD. Your JFrog
okay.
server, your Maven server, your Git
JIT.
server. Yes.
Okay.
SonarQube
Gotcha.
server, and so on and so on. They are different. Your Kubernetes server, your Docker server. Even though we call them to integrate all of them on a single server, on a single machine, but they are, for that reason, instead of calling them servers, we'll just call them tools, like different tools. So it's similar to connecting your real pipeline for your petroleum pipeline. So the nuts and the bolts that you use to tie them together, those are the tools. And then the actual pipes that you are connecting, those are the JFrog, the SonarQube that you are connecting together. The Kubernetes, the Docker, your containers, all of them. So see, I'm sure you are seeing that photograph, that picture. It's physical, it's something similar. So it is possible to do all of that manually. I've said that many times, but you cannot go to the market and say you are looking for a six-figure job if all you can do is create CI/CD, a working CI/CD pipeline, but manually. No, it's going to take you 3 weeks every time you have a simple CI/CD job to do. Nobody, even more than 3 weeks, nobody will pay you six-figure. In fact, nobody will employ you for that. So the thing that you must know on top of that, which many of your colleagues may not necessarily know or may not take too seriously, is how do you now automate that whole process? The automation is where scripting comes in. So at interview, they are going to ask you, oh, you know about what tool do you use to, or what, how do you automate your CI/CD pipeline? And then they may quote, do you know Python? Do you know this? Do you know this? What? I don't know all of those ones that you're mentioning, but the ones that I use, that I have used, I'll be using for my project is Terraform. Oh, have you used Terraform before? Okay, can you spin up? No, not really. Can you spin up? That's not how the question is asked. The questions are asked like this: what project did you deploy where you use Terraform? What and what did you use Terraform to accomplish in that project? Which is at the level of talking about your ability to automate processes. I mean, specifically CI/CD pipelines using Terraform. That is when you now begin to talk about $60. And the more automation you can do, the higher your pay. So if, for example, in addition to Terraform, not at this level, Terraform is just enough to give you an entry-level 4-year experience job. While some 5-7 years experience, in addition to Terraform, they would also expect that having spent 7 years in this field, you should know more than Terraform. You should know other applications like Chef, like Puppy, even within AWS, CloudFormation. And these are not so hard to learn, to be honest. They're not hard, especially CloudFormation. They are just... Another thing is, every time we talk about codes, don't be scared. The codes actually does not require you to know how to write codes or scripts. No, I meant scripts, not codes. But it's the same thing for code. But since we are not talking about coding, we're talking about scripting. So let's use the right term. So scripting is just a matter of going to, so for example, all the different tools that you are using in CI/CD, they have documentation. Terraform has documentation that has all the sample scripts that does, all the sample scripts that do the different aspects, that perform different aspects of whatever you need them to do. So it's just a matter of copy the script, paste, copy the script, paste, copy the script, paste, and then change whatever name they have on the template to what you want. So writing script does not really mean that you have to write the script from scratch by yourself. No, it simply means, go to the documentation.
Copying and pasting.
Yes, copy, paste, then edit, customize. And that is how you now build your own tool. That's how it is done. This is not like 15 years ago when I went to university, or 25 years ago when you had to learn scripting from scratch. No. All the tools are already available online. And that is why you are going through training, so that we can show you where these tools are, so you know where. In fact, everything about coding, even your interviewer will tell you, is just about, do you know how to find what you are looking for in Google? Finish, that's it. If you know how to find it, then go get it. The employer will not even wait for you to be writing codes from scratch. Now, is that what they're paying you $12,000 per month for, to write code from scratch? There'll be so much work on your table that you don't even have time to write codes. To even find time to edit a code will be trouble, because so many tasks to perform in very short time. So what you want is, and that's why you need networking. I need a script that can do this. Who has it? This script is here. Just give it to you, just edit, customize, and then you run it. In the process of editing, customizing, running, and then you are seeing results. You are learning. Your skill, your value is improving. And it proves to some point where you now become not earn like 250K. I hope you know that it's possible. Let me show you. You know that it's possible to earn 250K, 300K just by being an IT professional.
Yeah, how can we do that?
Really? In DevOps?
Class out of,
Okay, let me share with you.
straight out from this
You have to
class.
specialize, right? You need a lot of,
Actually,
right,
once you
machine learning and IoT and all those kind of things. Security.
no, even as a regular DevOps person,
Oh,
it's
okay.
just the experiences that you are gaining from doing this work on a daily basis. Because after you get your first job and you stay on that job for 6 months, you definitely will not be the same person. You are going to come back to me to be teaching me this same thing that I'm teaching you now, but at a deeper level, because this is something you do on a regular basis, every day. Do the same thing every day, or focus around the same job functions every day for 90 days. You'll be awesome. And you see the result. It's not like, so let's
Yeah, I
see.
guess like maybe once we get proficient at it, right? So we
Yeah.
might be able to, I guess, like have multiple jobs as opposed to just doing one. You can do two. So
Yeah,
like
definitely.
that, you can easily make 2 or 3, hundreds from there. I guess.
Even from one, you can make 250, 300, 400.
Really?
You don't believe it? Are you seeing my screen?
Show us. Yeah, we're seeing the white
You
thing.
can see, sir.
I'm just seeing a white screen.
Somebody that has not talked since he's talking now, because I talked about making 250.
Yes, that money, that
I just seen a blank screen.
Okay,
money
give
is
me
a universal language.
one. Yes, screen. All right, so you can see my Google, right?
Yes, you can say you could.
Okay, so let's see, man. So where's for your information? Yeah. All right, so let's see this website. You see these big companies? This is the most trusted website as far as salaries from big companies. You know what they call FANG, the big tech companies, Facebook, Amazon.
Yeah.
Apple,
yeah.
Netflix, and Google.
Yes, look at them: Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, and Netflix, and all the rest of them. So yeah, just come here. At your level, you should be, depending on how much experience you're able to carve from your former job. Let's even say level 4. So what is level 4? This is your total pay. You get into Google with level 4. And what's a typical level 4? Anyway, you have the website, go and look at it, and you see that level 4 might just be somebody who has like 3-4 years experience. And then look at 181. This must be entry level. And then Google, Amazon is hiring, so Amazon might be able. Okay, so Amazon for. So as a DevOps person, you fall into this category: software development engineer. Don't be scared, even though you are not a developer, you still fall into that category. So if you stay there enough to gain enough experience and you become a senior software development person, look at salary. And this is even, it's not rigid. It's not, you could be going there and earning 400. Where this guy is earning this? Because even though the salary is the same, they are going to rate you higher on stock and on bonuses. So salary will be the same. And these ones are payable monthly or maybe quarterly, either monthly or quarterly, and then it will be added to this, but this is your total pay. All right, let me look for, what if you become senior? If you stay long enough to become senior person at Amazon or at Google, let's say Google. Because these new guys are not really so many out there. So what they do is they fight themselves to this guy. Amazon will fight this guy to pull him out of here and come and put him on principal here. So this is where the experienced guys are. So that's why we're working so hard to train you guys so that you also will fit in at least at this level, even at the beginner level. Look at, we're talking about 150. Or even this, if this does not come because you are working, you are not getting your first job from Amazon, at least you will get 100 at least. Maybe this may not come because you are not working in Amazon. This may not come, at least 100 to start. And then as you build experience on top of that, all this will now become, you know why? Because they'll be headhunting you. There are not so many, many people may be doing training like what you observed, but not all of them will ultimately qualify, would end up being DevOps engineers. So they are not very common out there at all. So that is why on a daily basis, you have people coming to you to beg you, please leave Google, come and work for us, or leave Amazon, come and work for us. All right, let me shock you with 600,000 people. Maybe this too high, you may not be able to get there. Let's check this. Look at this. It's not 600,000. Are you see there?
Wow. Yeah, that's big. Whew. But the best salary is still like on the 200. That's the start.
Yes, because the law does not allow them to go beyond above a particular.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, there's
a cap.
regulatory. Yeah, a particular cap. Yeah, that's regulated. But this is what comes to you. This is your total. This is what.
Yeah, with the bonus and stocks. Yeah, that's humongous.
It's your money. So this is outside the business class and the hotels and other little things that will come your way. But this is,
man.
I mean, this is possible.
And this is like how many years now? Like what? 5, 6 years?
Yeah, depending on what you are claiming. Somebody from non-IT background of 12 years experience may do this, but somebody from IT background straight away with only 5 years experience might be able to do this as well.
Wow.
So non-IT, 12 years altogether, or maybe 20 years altogether. Out of that 20 years, 12 years lecturing, only 4 years in IT might do this. But you have been in IT from day one, and then you have all of these experiences within 5 years, maybe 8 years. So then you can actually look that up. Now let's look for
hold on, sir. When you give the example, you said 12 years lecturing, like lecturing in IT or just something different?
Just anything. No, not IT at all. If it was IT, then it will be counted as IT.
Okay. So basically, my former work experience, I just had to find what fits in and just build on that.
Yeah, this jobs like this will normally take like 4, 5 stages of interview. So at the interview, there will be something about your old work experience that is not necessarily technical, might be managerial, might be customer service related, something that useful that they are taking from there, and then it will count.
Yeah, so I have some managerial experience. So I've been thinking,
yeah,
to incorporate that. Okay.
Yeah, it's not useless at all. Definitely, you'll find it useless. Let's look for a particular person that got a job recently, because all of those years. Where do I get that? Usually you see people who just got jobs maybe 2 days ago or 3 days ago. Let me not take your time, but you can always come back, go and Google this. And then depending on, okay, maybe they need to sign it. You just see them here because people are submitting their salaries on a regular basis. You just see them here. This guy just got a job 3 days ago, just submitted this one. 300, 250, sometimes 500. The highest I have seen is like 600. But at the level of senior, then this one is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. So remove your iPhone. But at least 250 is very, very common. 250 is very common. All right. So if you know that, maybe that will motivate you to stay on this course, knowing that these people are always. All right.
Netflix 450.
It's off. It's off, okay. 450. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Netflix. Netflix is not part of. Oh, look at it. Look at what I was looking for.
A few
Few
seconds.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Sorry. So 9 minutes ago, somebody submitted this that I just got a job with Bloomberg 181. Of course, this guy. 33 minutes ago. Look at it. Oh, they just turned. Oh, this is what I was looking for. 200 something. This guy must be an intern. Let's Walmart Global Tech. Okay. So this guy must be an intern. Let's see what he's. Global Tech Software 3. Right? Let's check his experience. 104. 1 year experience, 2 years experience. You see, it's an intern.
And then
Also have an
Walmart is
interview.
not really is a tech company. So
No, yeah, okay, that's another. But for them to have been, for it to have been included here, it may not be the Walmart like maybe not Walmart sale, because this one is saying Walmart Tech. But whatever though, it just shows us. Then
Those guys still hire like tech guys. Like my younger brother worked for Walmart for a while as an Android developer.
yeah, what I was trying to say is their salary might not be as competitive compared to Amazon.
Oh no, they're not competitive. No.
At all, yeah.
They are big, but they're not competitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't know that. All right. So let's look at this guy's experience. I don't know this company, but let's check anyway. So let's do the one that we do. Let's do Amazon. Amazon hires all the time, so it's a popular one. 230. So what experience does this guy have? This API. This is a developer, not you actually, but sometimes. Okay, this is a developer. 3 years at that company and 5 years experience altogether. Okay. Not bad. Maybe it's coming from a background where it was doing 130, so 230 is maybe good. So they're out there. All right, so the point I'm just making is these are real. These are not fictitious, they are real. And as long as people are doing it, you also can do it. But it just requires consistent self-development. So the fact that you finish this training is not it's not the end of it. It's actually the beginning of a new phase. While you are managing the 100K, be on the lookout for bigger pay out there. How do you get there? Not by applying anymore, but just by focusing and developing yourself in the skills that you are learning. At the appropriate time, they will hunt for you. They will hunt for you. And once you find a job that you fit, a job role that you really fit, the interview will not be long. Because just mentioning that I work with Amazon as a DevOps engineer, already you have gotten the deal. It is just for you now to prove that, yes, you are the real person. Because your profile is already good. So for Amazon to take you, you know the stress that you have to go through. So for you to have passed through all of that. All right, so that's it. Okay. So what other questions?
Yeah, so in terms of interviewing and job search, how do you guys assist with that?
Job search will not be a problem at all, because once you have that resume on LinkedIn, you will get calls. If you do not get calls, then that is when it becomes a problem. Then you can come back and say, nobody has called me. So recruiters will definitely call you.
Okay.
All right. So for interviewing, we'll do the best that we can to give you all the technical skills to show you the knowledge that you need to have to be able to go out there and pass interviews.
Okay, so do you have some
the sample resume.
Okay, do you have some questions, like interview questions?
That's what we're discussing. The whole training is all about the questions and answers. Don't expect another, we may give you another 1 hour or 2 hours of likely questions, but that does not override the 6 months of training. The 6 months of training is the real deal.
Okay.
Yes. They have been prepared to help you pass interviews, to help you answer questions. So don't expect that it's 3 hours that we're going to spend with you going through. I think it's like a 7-page document of sample interview questions.
Okay.
That is not it. That's not it at all. Anybody. It's the training is the real thing.
Yeah, I understand. But I know there'll be some like little questions here and there.
Yeah, we have
Just
that already
know
prepared.
how to tackle those too, yeah.
Yeah, that's already prepared. We'll just go through the question and answer session.
Okay.
Usually
sounds
on the
good.
last 2 lectures of training.
Okay.
That's also when ideally we should give you the resume, but we can give you the resume as long as you are not owing. The only reason we are keeping resume to the last moment is just to make sure you are not owing that you deserve it. Once that is settled, why not? It's a problem for you.
Okay, so we'll get the resume like by next session, next module, I guess.
Yeah, the emphasis now is for us to. This is your 3rd month, right?
Yes.
Yeah, everything. Let's just see how this our trainer will no longer disappoint. We're able to carry on and complete training on schedule. In that case, yes, it will be on the 4th month, which is like next week or in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I hope the trainer is okay. So just keep
I hope
us
so because
updated tomorrow.
I'm a bit. That's even my fear more than the fact that he's not in class. My fear is I hope he's okay. But last time he was sounding ill in the other class.
So was that anyone able to reach out to him today? Did he hear back?
He didn't pick my call, and that's why I was became a bit
okay.
worried. Must have been.
I hope it's okay.
So I believe so, though. So.
Oh yeah, just keep us updated. It's for tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You are supposed to have class tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Ah,
Same 6 to 9. So we need to know
okay.
because we make arrangements to be here every weekend.
Yeah.
Like I have a babysitter that is waiting for me right now, and I'm paying.
What's waiting for you?
Huh?
You have what's waiting for you?
I have a nanny that I'm paying so I can be able to be in this class. So
okay.
this is the reason why I'm like, okay, are you in class? I make arrangement every weekend to be here. So I want him to be here, but I just hope he's okay.
Okay. I would, like you said, I would. I'm sure once he sees my message, he will reply, and then I'll be able to inform you early enough for tomorrow.
Okay,
it's just unfortunate that it's not something. If it was Linux, I don't have to prepare anything. We can just go straight into it. But for me to prepare servers now to take this, it's not hard for me. So I'll let you know. Hopefully, it's able to take tomorrow's class. Otherwise, I'll let you know early enough so you don't have to. You don't have to do what you don't need to do.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys. I hope it's been a beautiful session together. And then you have yeah. So that's about it for now.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it was really good to have you over here today. I mean, even though we don't have class, but at least the advice, everything that you shared today, it's been, it's needed. We need it.
All right, thank you for that. Yeah, we should spend at least one more session like this together before we finally let you go, especially in the 4th month. So usually they reserve the 4th month for me to meet people. Now by then, only those that deserve to meet with me will be left. Yeah, and then I'll share more tips as we discuss and you ask questions. I'll remember things that I should share. And then, we'll have at least one session. The time being, I'm sorry about what happened today. So, like I said, we'll watch out and let you know early enough if there'll be lecture tomorrow. But in any case, we'll still try and make up for all of this in future so that our 4 months remains 4 months. Because we know that you guys have other things planned. And some of you already have your job waiting, so you can't just wait to be done with training so you can Go and start your.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Hopefully.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
right.
So much, sir.
All right, take care, everyone. Yeah, I'll share the recorded video. Bye, everyone. Stop share.